From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day, this is Dateline Malacañang. On the top story, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. led the inauguration of the Integrated Disaster Risk Reduction and Climate Change Adaptation Project Stage 1 or IDRR CCA-1 in Masantol, Pampanga. The Philippine Department of Public Works and Highways Unified Project Management Office or DPWH UPMO Flood Control Management Clusters Infrastructure Project aims to protect Pampanga's low-lying areas including Macabebe, Masantol, Minalin, Santo Tomas, and Apalit. It also aims to enhance drainage in key river channels like the Third River, Eastern Branch River, Kadawang Tete, and Sapang Maragul River. Moreover, the IDRRCCA-1 project is part of the broader initiatives by the Climate Change Commission, or CCC, which has been actively engaged in climate adaptation studies and community outreach in Region 3 or Central Luzon. Overall, the inauguration marks a significant step in enhancing the country's resilience to natural disasters and mitigating the adverse effects of climate change. Let us listen to Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
With us today is House Speaker, Martin Romualdez. Of course, His Excellency, the Ambassador of the Republic of Korea to the Philippines, His Excellency Lee Sang-hwa. Pampanga 4th District Representative Ana York Bondok, who is whose district is the beneficiary of this very important and very extensive, large project for flood control. Patrol Party List Representative George Bustos. Pampanga Provincial Governor Dennis Padilla has also joined us. Masantol Municipal Mayor Jose Antonio Bustos, and all the other local chief executives and local officials present. My fellow workers in government, ladies and gentlemen, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. It is with great pleasure that I join you here today to inaugurate the Integrated Disaster Risk Reduction and Climate Change Adaptation Project Stage 1, a project made possible with the help from our friends in the Korean government, and as a response to the eruption of Mount Pinatubo in June 1991 that spewed massive amounts of volcanic ash that covered vast swaths of the province of Pampanga. This led to heavy siltation along the streams, rivers, all the waterways, decreasing the discharge capacities and causing heavy flooding during the rainy season, especially in the low-lying municipalities of Macabebe, Masantol, Minalin, and Santo Tomas. The province has also suffered perennial loss of life and damage to properties due to heavy flooding. So it had to be addressed through the construction of these flood control structures. In response, the Philippine government, with the technical and financial assistance of the Korean government, developed a study which became the foundation for the construction of structural measures that we now have the privilege to inaugurate. The IDRR CCA-1 costs more than 7 billion pesos, and it aims to mitigate flood damage by increasing the discharge capacity of the Third River, the Eastern Branch River, the Sapang Maragul River, and the Kadawang Tete River. To fully realize the project's benefits and provide long-term solutions to flooding here in Pampanga, I am now instructing the Department of Public Works and Highways to ensure that Stage 2 of the IDRR CCA will be proceeding as scheduled. I have the assurance, as we were looking at the floodgates and the technical explanation of what this is, the ambassador assures me that the planning and the technical examination for stage 2 has already begun. Maraming salamat po. Once it is fully completed, the IDRR CCA will reduce the flood level and flood duration from 68 days to 17 days in the municipalities of Macabebe, Masantol, Minalin, and Santo Tomas. We are very optimistic that this will redound to improving the people's lives by enhancing the disaster resilience of all our communities. The DPWH has also completed several other flood control projects here in Region 3. Among these is the construction of a flood control structure at the Pampanga River in Gabaldon, Nueva Ecija. The flood control structure cost around 85 million pesos, was completed last May. Another completed project is the rehabilitation of the eroded bank of the Pampanga River at Kandanting, Arayat. And that project was cost 91 million pesos, was completed in October of last year. So let me assure all that the government, through the Public Works, will expeditiously complete the ongoing flood control projects here in Region 3. However, this is only half of the solution. Flood control projects are meant to help minimize the effects of flooding, and they will help in reducing the size of the areas affected, decreasing the height of the flood, and shortening the time for flooding to subside. With climate change and with the effects of an increasing overpopulation, we expect that we will experience more and more of these historic flooding events. For flood control to work, we must do our part in maintaining our canals and waterways and in recycling and properly disposing of our garbage. Rest assured that this government is working and doing all it can to pursue initiatives and programs to protect our citizens and the environment, to innovate current trends in disaster risk reduction and management, as well as to ensure heightened climate responsibility and justice. But our local government units and our citizens also have an extremely important role to play. At this juncture, let me once again thank our friends from the Korean government for their help in completing this important stage 1 of the IDRR CCA project. Let us continue to explore other areas of cooperation that will uplift both our countries and the lives of our people. Let me extend also my gratitude to the officials and the people of the province of Pampanga, whose solidarity and collaboration has resulted in the successful completion of the IDRR CCA-1. I also acknowledge the efforts of the Department of Public Works and Highways and everyone who has worked on the completion of this grand project. It demonstrates the government's commitment to delivering quality, safe, and environmentally friendly infrastructure to all Filipinos. Thank you, and let this occasion mark the beginning of a new era of sustainable progress for Pampanga and for the Philippines. Mabuhay po kayong lahat. Maraming salamat po. Mabuhay ang bagong Pilipinas. Dakal asalamat.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Realizing the administration's vision to uplift the lives of farmers and attain food security in the country, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. led a turnover of 148 newly procured heavy equipment to the regional offices of the National Irrigation Administration, or NIA, in a ceremony at Mexico City, Pampanga. With a total cost of 782.132 million pesos, the acquisition acquisition of new excavators, trailer trucks, and dumpers fall under the second tranche of NIA's 3-year refleeting program that aims to achieve the agency's goal of fast-tracking irrigation development in the country. These heavy equipment will be utilized in the operation and maintenance, or O&M, of irrigation systems, particularly in canal desilting operations in preparation for the wet crop season. Currently, the NIA has 257 national irrigation systems, or NISs, and 8,802 communal irrigation systems, or CISs, underscoring the agency's commitment of having reliable equipment and machinery to fulfill its institutional mandate to Filipino farmers. Let us listen to Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Maraming salamat sa ating kalihim ng Department of Agriculture, Secretary Kiko Laurel, sa iyong pagpakilala. Please magsiupo po tayo. Nandito rin po the House Speaker, who was instrumental in making sure that the budget was restored so that we are able to do this. At napakahalaga nito. At pasalamat tayo sa ating House Speaker, Speaker Martin Romualdez. Andito rin, siyempre, kailangan natin batiin ang ating NIA Administrator, Engineer Eddie Guillen. Andito rin po ang ating Pampanga Governor, Governor Delta is also here. And together with the Vice Governor, Vice Governor Nana Baby Pineda, Municipal Mayor of Mexico, Pampanga, Mayor Redencio Gonzalez. And of course, ang talagang pinuntahan natin dito at kayo talaga ang magiging aming inaasahan na tutulong at gagamitin lahat itong mga gamit na ito at gagamitin para mas pagandahin ang ating irigasyon, ang ating patubig sa buong Pilipinas, ang ating mga Irrigators Association at ang ating farmers beneficiaries. My fellow workers in government, and of course, our partners in the private sector, ladies and gentlemen, magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat. Today, we witnessed the turnover of the second tranche of the operations and maintenance equipment under the National Irrigation Administration 3-year refleeting program. Itong programang ito, this is a realization of our commitment to the efficient and effective functioning of our irrigation systems. This goes beyond the provisions of just the provisions of new machinery. It also empowers our NIA regional offices, the irrigators associations, our farmer beneficiaries to ensure the sustainability of our irrigation systems to avoid losses and to promote more efficient use of water resources that will in turn produce better and more crops. Last December 2023, we distributed 141 units of excavators amounting to an estimated 776 million pesos. That was the first tranche, turned over to the 17 NIA regional offices. Now, these equipments are now being used for the rehabilitation, preventive maintenance, and repair of irrigation facilities. Today, we distribute 148 units of heavy equipment such as excavators, dump trucks, tractors with trailers to the NIA regional offices around the country. By 2025, we will roll out the third tranche of equipment amounting to around 1 billion pesos. This investment in our irrigation infrastructure attests to our unwavering commitment to supporting the backbone of our economy, the agricultural sector. Through our refleeting program, we can instantly repair and build more irrigation facilities that were damaged by natural calamities, stand strong against the challenges of shifting climate change. It is more important now as many parts of the country are still recovering from the onslaught of Typhoon Karina and Buchoy. Of course, the provision of these machineries is just one of the NIA's efforts to ensure food security. Its bigger role is in the provision of water for crops through the construction and repair of irrigation facilities. With these machines and with this equipment to optimize our irrigation systems, the NIA has provided services to more than half of our national irrigation systems and communal irrigation systems. In areas where dam construction is not feasible or where there is a need to pump water to irrigate farmlands, the NIA has provided renewable energy-driven irrigation systems. We will not stop to find solutions that work for our farmers. We remain steadfast in our efforts to employ sustainable technologies to meet our irrigation needs. Sa ating mga magsasaka, saksi tayo ngayon sa isang bagong yugto sa pagsulong ng irigasyon at agrikultura sa ilalim ng isang bagong Pilipinas. Ating pinapalawig ang mga makabagong pamamaraan sa pagsasaka at sa patubig. Pinapalakas ang ugnayan sa pagitan ng ating mga magsasaka at ng pamahalaan. At binibigyan natin ng suporta ang ating mga magsasaka upang makamit ninyo ang inyong mga pangarap at adhikain. Bilang kapalit, sana po ay patuloy po kayong magpupursigi upang paundarin ang inyong mga sakahan at nang sa gayon ay magbunga ng masaganang ani ang inyong mga pagsisikap. Tunay nga po na basta sama-sama mapapatagumpay natin ang kahit anumang pagsubok. Sa ating pagkakaisa, lalo pa sa ating pagpapalakas ng sektor ng agrikultura para sa kinabukasan ng ating bansa. Nais ko rin na malaman ninyo ang kailanman. Hindi po namin kayo pababayaan. Habang pinauunlad at ginagawa nating moderno ang sektor ng agrikultura, hindi natin kinakalimutan at iiwanan ang bawat magsasakang Pilipino. Patuloy po tayong naghahanap ng mga solusyon upang mapabuti ang gawaing pagsasaka at mapataas ang inyong ani at ang inyong kita. Kaya tayo po ay magtulungan upang makamit ang isang maunlad at masaganang bagong Pilipinas. Maraming salamat po. Mabuhay ang ating mga magsasaka. Mabuhay po kayong lahat. Mabuhay ang bagong Pilipinas.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Wednesday hailed Filipina boxer Ira Villegas for collecting a bronze medal in the 2024 Paris Olympics, calling her an inspiration to young Filipinos. Villegas ended her Olympic run with a bronze medal after a unanimous decision loss to Turkey's Buzenaz Kagiroglu in the women's 50 kilograms semifinals. In a social media post after the fight, the president thanked Villegas for bringing home the bronze and praised her on her knockout performance in her Olympic debut. First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos also congratulated Villegas in a separate social media post, saying that her performance proves that Filipinas can really pack a punch worthy of an Olympic medal. This is the Philippines' third medal in the ongoing 2024 Paris Summer Games, following Carlos Yulo's double gold medal performance in men's gymnastics.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. ordered an adjustment to the target of building 6 million housing units by the end of his term in 2028. In a social media post, the president said the new housing target should be based on need and demand. The chief executive said to ensure that the Pambansang Pabahay para sa Pilipino or 4PH program is successful and sustainable. He has directed the concerned agencies to adjust housing targets based on need and demand until 2028. President Marcos held a sectoral meeting with officials of the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development or DHSUD at Malacañang Palace in Manila on Tuesday afternoon to discuss the proposed sovereign guarantee to implement the 4PH program. In June, the DHSUD asked for a funding guarantee for the 4PH program to increase the confidence of government financial institutions in supporting it and attract the participation of private banks and institutions. Launched in September 2022, the 4PH program aims to address the country's 6.5 million housing backlog by building 1 million units annually until 2028. The HSUD or DSUD Secretary Jose Rizalino Acuzar said the government slashed by half its target, the 4PH program, to just 3 million units from the original 6 million units.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Tuesday received Papua New Guinea PNG Ambassador to the Philippines, Betty Palazzo, in a farewell call in Malacañang Palace. The president hopes that both countries will continue to move for stronger trade relations. In their meeting, the chief executive expressed his gratitude for Palazzo's work in strengthening the bilateral relations of the two countries. Palazzo ends her tour of duty in Manila after 5 years. According to the Presidential Communications Office or PCO, President Marcos said he expects Palazzo's successor to continue working on various areas of cooperation, particularly on trade, agriculture, and fisheries. Ambassador Palazzo officially became PNG's envoy to the Philippines on March 19, 2019. The Philippines was among the first countries to establish formal diplomatic relations with PNG, which was declared and recognized as a sovereign nation on September 16, 1975, after 70 years of Australian administration. The two nations will mark the 50th anniversary of bilateral relations next year. The Philippines and PNG had a Memorandum of Understanding or MOU on fisheries cooperation, which the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources or BIFAR seeks to renew. The MOU, which expired February 1, does not provide for its automatic extension. There are 4 major Philippine distant water fishing companies operating in PNG waters, namely Frabel Fishing Corporation, RD Fishing Group with its 6 subsidiary fishing companies, TSP Marine Industries, and Trans-Pacific Journey Fishing Corporation.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Tuesday commended outgoing Swedish ambassador to the Philippines, Annika Thunborg, for her crucial role in improving Manila and Stockholm's relations. The president expressed his gratitude for the support Sweden has shown to the Philippines during Thunberg's farewell call at Malacañang Palace in Manila. The chief executive said it is important for the Philippines to form an alliance with Sweden, which is said is a friend to the Philippines. Ambassador Thunberg told President Marcos the importance of forging a strong partnership with like-minded partners such as the Philippines. Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin, Special Assistant to the President for Investment and Economic Affairs, Frederick Go, Deputy Assistant Secretary Lina Eileen de Dios Sison, and Director Ferdinand Flores of Department of Foreign Affairs or DFA Office of the European Affairs were among the Philippine officials present during the farewell call. Thunberg was appointed as Sweden's ambassador to the Philippines in 2021. She is the second Swedish ambassador to be assigned to the Philippines since the embassy reopened in Manila in 2016. Thunberg previously served as Sweden's ambassador to Mexico and worked with multilateral issues in Geneva, Vienna, and New York, where she forged close ties with colleagues from the Philippines. Diplomatic relations between the Philippines and Sweden were established on January 17, 1947.
Dateline Malacañang.
Nearly 4 out of 10 Filipinos support the administration of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. based on an Okta research survey. In the second quarter Tugon ng Masa survey released on Tuesday, 36% of adult Filipinos view themselves as pro-Marcos. This is 4 percentage points higher than the 31% registered in the previous quarter. Meanwhile, the Duterte family's rating dropped by 4 percentage points to 16% from the 20% recorded in March. Only 5% of adult Filipinos support the opposition. Around 31% of the 1,200 respondents considered themselves as independents who do not identify themselves as pro-Marcos, pro-Duterte, or the opposition. The remaining 11% of respondents have mixed feeling about their political preferences. The Tugon ng Masa survey was conducted among 1,200 respondents using face-to-face interviews from June 26 to July 1st. It has a plus-minus 3% margin of error at a 95% confidence level.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP, on Tuesday confirmed the continuous militarization of China in Subi Reef in the West Philippine Sea, the nearest reclamation project of China in Pag-asa Island. In a press briefing in Camp Aguinaldo, Philippine Navy spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Rear Admiral Roy Vincent Trinidad, said the AFP monitored the improvements made by China in their military base in Subi Reef, also known as Zamora Reef. Currently, Trinidad said China is building several structures and have heavy equipments in Subi Reef. But Trinidad clarified that Subi Reef, which is around 12 to 15 kilometers from Pag-asa Island, is outside the territorial waters of Pag-asa Island and is not covered in the country's exclusive economic zone, or EEZ. Nevertheless, Trinidad emphasized that China is still acting illegally based on the arbitral tribunal decision that all artificial islands made by China in the West Philippine Sea will not give them any maritime entitlement or right in the waters. Trinidad added that China has already reclaimed 3,000 hectares in and outside the Philippines' EEZ in the West Philippine Sea.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippine Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, said there is no real progress in the appeal to release the seafarers of MV Galaxy Leader 9 months since they were seized by Houthi rebels in Yemen. The statement was issued as the agency reported that the 3 sick Filipinos who were admitted to the hospital for malaria have already recovered. Foreign Affairs Undersecretary for Migration Eduardo Jose de Vega said they are on the ship or are being returned to the ship. The Houthi hijacked the cargo vessel near Hodeida in November 2023 and held hostage its 25 crew members, 17 of whom are Filipino nationals. It was confirmed that the Sana'a government in Yemen provided medical assistance when the 3 Filipino crew members exhibited malaria symptoms. Honorary Consul to Yemen, Mohammad Saleh Al-Jamal, sought the help of Sana'a authorities for the release of the 3 Filipinos, citing humanitarian reasons. The Houthis previously said its attack was a retaliation for the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza.
Dateline Malacañang.
Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, Tuesday said the Philippines is closely monitoring the situation of Filipinos in Israel, Lebanon, and Iran as the region braces for a potential escalation of conflict after the assassination of Hamas political chief Ismail Haniyeh in Iran last week. Tehran and the Hamas accused Israel of carrying out the Wednesday assassination, but the latter has yet to confirm nor deny its involvement. On Monday, the Iranian government warned of retaliation, sparking fears that Israel's conflict with Hamas and its allies, including the Iran-backed Hezbollah in Lebanon, would develop into a larger regional war. Several countries have already advised their citizens to leave Lebanon, such as South Korea, Italy, the United Kingdom, and the United States. The Philippines also previously urged Filipinos to voluntarily evacuate after raising alert level 3 in Lebanon. Undersecretary for Migration Eduardo Jose de Vega said most Filipinos choose to stay in Lebanon despite the heightened crisis, and that there are no upshift in the number of those who want to return to the Philippines. There are an estimated 11,291 Filipino migrant workers in Lebanon, de Vega said, citing the latest official figures of the Lebanese immigration. Excluded from the data are irregular migrants who either entered illegally or have no residence permits. Since the Middle East crisis began when the war between Israel and Hamas broke out in October 2023, the Philippines has repatriated 300 Filipinos out of Lebanon, while 600 are awaiting clearance. In Israel, the DFA is still waiting for the recommendation of the Philippine Embassy in Tel Aviv on whether to raise the crisis alert level. On August 5th, the United Nations called for an urgent de-escalation as it warns against a wider war in the Middle East.
Dateline Malacañang.
And that is all for today's Dateline Malacañang for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. This has been Bea Gaza.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila. Dateline Malacañang.